can be easily identified. With this in mind, males can either be affected or unaffected. Males are not carriers because they have only one X chromosome. To show a sex-linked trait, a female must have two recessive alleles, one on each X chromosome. Females who are heterozygous, possessing a recessive gene on one X chromosome and the dominant gene on the other X chromosome, for a characteristic carried on the X chromosome, are carriers of sex-linked traits. They appear phenotypically normal, but half of their gametes carry the recessive gene. If she transmits the X with the recessive gene to a son, it will show up in him. There would be a 50% chance that the recessive gene would be passed on. Hemophilia, red-green color blindness, and premature balding are examples of sex-linked traits. Hemophilia refers to a group of bleeding disorders in which it takes a long time for the blood to clot. In most cases, the disorder is passed down through families, inherited. It most often affects males. When using the Mendelian map to determine the results of crosses involving sex-linked characteristics, the recessive allele on the X chromosome is donated by a superscript lowercase letter, example, X lowercase h, as distinct from the uppercase version of the same letter X uppercase H for the normal allele, dominant in this case. In males, a Y chromosome not carrying an equivalent gene is also present. Look at these three examples. In the first case, an unaffected female crosses with an affected male. The cross results in all female carriers and all unaffected males. In the second scenario, an affected female crosses with an unaffected male. In this case, all their male offspring are affected, which shows that the mother passes on the affected gene. However, the female offspring are unaffected, but carriers. In the third example, a female carrier of hemophilia mates with an unaffected male. The cross results in 50% of their daughters being carriers of hemophilia and 50% normal female, 50% of their sons being normal and 50% of their sons being affected.
E-Learning Jamaica Limited, in association with the Ministry of Education and ZED Jamaica Limited, present a series of e-learning videos geared towards preparing students for CXC examinations. This series focuses on biology. There are 10 videos, each lasting 20 minutes. Your narrator, Michael Anthony.
So you want to study biology. That's good, because we're all practicing biologists. Biology involves the detailed study of living organisms, including man. It's a branch of science with which we can all identify.
When we eat food and the body uses it to make energy, repair tissues, and build up the body's defenses, that is biology in action.
When we place fish and meat products in the refrigerator to prevent them from decomposing, that's biology in action too.
Water works to restore a steady state in our bodies. So when we drink water, it is biology in action.
When farmers use stem cuttings from the previous crop to form the source of the new crop, that's biology in action as well.
When we do exercise to get rid of waste, strengthen our muscles, and make our body flexible, it is biology in action. When we make compost heap from organic waste such as peelings and dried grass, that's biology in action. When we clean our pet by removing parasites and germs that may affect both our pets and ourselves, that is biology in action. When we cook our meals using high temperatures to kill germs that may be living on it, that's biology in action. When we take a tablet for a headache, that is also biology in action. When we catch a cold or have a fever and our body's immune system fights back to defend the body against the virus and bacteria, that is biology in action. When mosquitoes, rats, and flies breed up in the community and threaten our health, and we seek out to destroy their habitat, that is biology in action.
Screwworms, otherwise known as maggots, magic, affect all warm-blooded animals, including man.
The study of biology can prepare you for interesting careers such as horticulturalist.
The horticulturalist uses biology to understand the nature of flowering plants and how to improve their quality by tissue culture, crossbreeding, and using specialized environments such as a greenhouse.
Pharmacist.
The pharmacist uses biology to understand how the medicine they dispense impacts on humans and makes sure the quality of the medicine will not harm the body in the quantity and the conditions for taking the medicine.
Farmer.
The farmer uses biology to understand conditions necessary for germination and how to control pests and prevent excessive loss of nutrients from the soil. They know how to tend to crops to obtain maximum yield of good quality ground provision, berries, fruits, and vegetables.
Medical doctor.
The medical doctor studies biology because knowledge of biology prepares the doctor for understanding how the body works and where to find the different body parts. This is called morphology and physiology. Doctors go through a rigorous study of biology.
Teacher.
The biology teacher must have comprehensive and up-to-date knowledge of biological concepts and principles outlined in the biology syllabus. In addition, the teacher must be able to facilitate students to conduct experiments, interpret results, and motivate the students to love reading biology.
Physiotherapist.
The physiotherapist needs biology to understand what is happening inside the body when they prescribe treatment for the illness involving muscle and nerve damage. Biology also helps them to visualize how bones and muscles work together to facilitate the body to do work. Biology also helps them to determine how to administer treatment so as not to hurt the patient, especially those with spinal problems.
Medical technologist.
The medical technologist uses biology to prepare for and conduct medical tests and interpret the results. Biology provides the background knowledge that the technologist may use on a daily basis. Cosmetology. The cosmetologist needs to pursue biology in order to understand the formation of skin and nails, as well as the proteins in hair. Biology also provides the ability to observe skin discolorations before situations worsen. The instructions on the labels of skin and hair products require clear knowledge of biology. Paramedic. The paramedic needs biology in order to understand how to act during an emergency and how to respond to the requirement of patients. They use biology to understand and carry out cardiopulmonary resuscitations, CPR. Veterinarian. The veterinarian uses biology to interpret animal behavior and how to treat and protect animals, not only dogs, but all domestic animals, especially when they are hurt. They sometimes work closely with farmers in the animal husbandry to produce a safe source of meat for human consumption. Dentists. The dentist uses biology to understand oral health and teeth formation, positioning in the mouth, and changing of teeth. Gum diseases are also studied under biology and are of great help to the dentist in examination and cleaning of the vocal cavity or the mouth, and reducing the possibility of gum disease and decaying teeth. Radiologist. The radiologist must understand biology in order to analyze and interpret X-rays taken from various parts of the body and to understand how the X-rays affect humans. They use biology to diagnose what the X-ray diagram tells them about the body, especially in cancer diagnosis. They are also able to recommend treatment for broken bones. Radiologists are also specialists in conducting and interpreting ultrasound results. Health inspector. The health inspector uses biology when samples are collected from ponds, rivers, lakes, and gullies to test the water quality. Such tests are also done in stagnant pools to tell if malaria-carrying mosquitoes are present. Inspectors also visit public places where food is prepared in order to maintain quality food preparation standards. They are also in charge of inspecting meat leaving slaughterhouses and certifying it for consumption. Forensic scientist. The forensic scientist uses biology to investigate crime scenes and protect as well as collect evidence. They understand how to prevent contamination of the crime scene. They understand DNA evidence and can provide evidence in court as an expert. They use a wide variety of equipment and techniques, including chemical analysis. Nurse. A nurse uses biology daily during training and as she walks the hospital ward helping patients to overcome illnesses. Nurses are trained to understand microbiology, how they cause fevers, and how to reduce the chances of the germs overcoming the body defenses. Nurses also conduct a variety of tests so that patients can be given the correct medicine in the right dosage. They work closely with the medical doctor to ensure patient care and recovery. Ophthalmologist. The ophthalmologist uses a combination of biology and physics when they examine the eye using advanced machines. They understand how the eye works and are able to do complex operations on the eye to fix the very delicate parts. They are capable of diagnosing whether the eye has a disease or genetic defect. Students who study biology with a career in mind should also bear in mind that biology does not work alone and usually requires another science subject and mathematics to complement it.
E-Learning Jamaica Limited, in association with the Ministry of Education and SED Jamaica Limited, present a series of e-learning videos geared towards preparing students for CXC examinations. This series focuses on biology. There are 10 videos, each lasting 20 minutes. Your narrator, Michael Anthony.
So you want to study biology. That's good, because we're all practicing biologists. Biology involves the detailed study of living organisms, including man. It's a branch of science with which we can all identify.
When we eat food and the body uses it to make energy, repair tissues, and build up the body's defenses, that is biology in action.
When we place fish and meat products in the refrigerator to prevent them from decomposing, that's biology in action too.
Water works to restore a steady state in our bodies, so when we drink water, it is biology in action.
When farmers use stem cuttings from the previous crop to form the source of the new crop, that's biology in action as well.
When we do exercise to get rid of waste, strengthen our muscles, and make our body flexible, it is biology in action. When we make compost heap from organic waste such as peelings and dried grass, that's biology in action. When we clean our pet by removing parasites and germs that may affect both our pets and ourselves, that is biology in action. When we cook our meals using high temperatures to kill germs that may be living on it, that's biology in action. When we take a tablet for a headache, that is also biology in action. When we catch a cold or have a fever and our body's immune system fights back to defend the body against the virus and bacteria, that is biology in action. When mosquitoes, rats, and flies breed up in the community and threaten our health, and we seek out to destroy their habitat, that is biology in action.
Screwworms, otherwise known as maggots, magic, affect all warm-blooded animals, including man.
The scientific method. Scientists do not guesswork and do not draw conclusions based on emotions or feelings. There are times when bright ideas come from out of thought, and although these ideas may be true, they have to be tested experimentally and understood clearly before any specific conclusions can be drawn. Scientists work by using the scientific method to solve problems. This method involves the planning and designing of an experiment to shed light on the topic or idea of interest. The whole process starts from a stated problem, question, a finding, or an observation, something that is not clear, a discrepancy that may exist between what I thought was true and what I am learning now. Any one of these can spark curiosity and inquisitiveness and make the scientist want to investigate and find out what causes things to happen and what can be done to solve problems, remedy the situation, or explain happenings. In studying CXC biology, it is important to know how to plan and design experiments to find the answer to the question asked. Sequence of the scientific investigation process. Step 1. State the problem or the idea to be investigated. Here are some ideas or questions that you may wish to explore.
I wonder if earthworms prefer to live in dark, moist areas than in dry, brightly lit areas. Plants grow faster when watered with fresh water than with salt water. Millipedes, if given a choice, will move towards darker areas and away from brightly lit areas with high light intensities.
Step 2. research a problem and find out more about it. Chances are you are not the first one to ask such a question, and there are some ideas related to the problem you have stated written somewhere. Find out what others have to say on the subject. This will put you in a better position to go to the next step. Go to the library. Read textbooks and scientific magazines. Check it out using the internet. Go online. Discuss or interview an authority. Step 3. State a hypothesis. The hypothesis must be stated in a way that is testable. The hypothesis is an educated guess which suggests a possible solution or remedy to the problem. If you do not do a good research, your guess may not be as educated as expected. Furthermore, when you move to the next stage, you may be spending a lot of time reinventing the wheel. Here are some hypotheses related to the questions stated above, along with some additional ones to guide your thinking. Earthworms prefer to live in dark, moist areas than in dry, brightly lit areas. Plants will grow faster in fresh water than soapy water. Plants grow faster when watered with fresh water than with salt water. Green bananas ripe faster if placed in a dark area than in a lit one. Millipedes will move towards darker areas and away from brightly lit areas with high light intensities. Step 4. Experimenting the hypothesis. When experimenting, the scientist must first identify the variables involved. The scientist wants to know what causes what, so variables are divided into the independent and dependent variables. For example, if the student's hypothesis is, if the leaf of a plant is not exposed to light, it will not make starch. Then, the dependent variable is starch and the independent variable is light. The student is suggesting the presence of starch in a leaf is dependent on its exposure of the leaf to light. Step 5. Data collection. This is a process by which observations made during the experiment are recorded. Step 6. Representing the results. Tables, graphs, pie charts, histograms, and cumulative frequency charts can be used to represent the data you have collected. Step 7. Interpret the results. Look for trends and patterns. Conclusion. What have we learned? Is the problem solved? Is the situation clearly understood? Has the cause been demonstrated? Is the hypothesis proven to be true? If the answer is yes, that's good. If the problem is not solved and the cause and effect clearly observed and explained are different, then a new hypothesis has to be stated and the situation investigated experimentally all over again. The scientific method is very strict. It requires that the student is objective and records only what is observed and not imposes his or her feelings or will on the recording. Safety is also very important because a biology student will sometimes work with harmful substances. Go on now, be a biological scientist.
morning, Jamaica Limited, in association with the Ministry of Education and said Jamaica Limited, present a series of e-learning videos geared towards preparing students for CXC examinations. This series focuses on biology and highlights areas considered most challenging to our students. There are 10 videos, each lasting 20 minutes. Your narrator, Michael Anthony.
Learning outcomes. After completing this lesson, student will be able to outline the process of meiosis. There are 46 chromosomes in each human cell except red blood cells and gametes. In gametes, sex cells, there are 23 chromosomes. Can you imagine what would result if gametes contained 46 chromosomes? As a result of fertilization, the resulting offspring would have 98 chromosomes in each cell. Furthermore, the number would keep on doubling with each successive generation. For this reason, a process by which the chromosome number is halved and chromosomes are sorted and packaged to be passed on to an organism's offspring is carried out. This process is called meiosis. In animals, meiosis occurs in the testes and ovaries. In plants, meiosis occurs in the anthers and ovules. Meiosis is a type of nuclear division that gives rise to 4 reproductive cells. Gametes, each with half the chromosome number of the parent cell. 2 consecutive divisions occur. In the first, homologous chromosomes become paired and may exchange genetic material before they move away from each other into separate daughter nuclei. This is the actual reduction division because each of the 2 nuclei so formed contains only half of the original chromosome. The daughter nuclei then divides by mitosis and 4 haploid cells are produced. With these basic ideas in mind, let us examine in detail the events that take place during meiosis. Learning outcomes. After completing this lesson, student will be able to state the importance of having the chromosome number in the formation of gametes. Stages of the first meiotic division. Prophase 1. The chromosomes condense and become more visible. The nucleolus disappears. Centrioles, if present, arrange themselves at opposite sides of the nucleus and a spindle forms. Homologous chromosomes associate with each other, in that they lie side by side. As prophase 1 proceeds, the homologous chromosomes may become intimately coiled around each other and exchange genetic material. Metaphase 1. The nuclear envelope breaks down and the homologous chromosomes move to the equator of spindle. Homologous chromosomes are positioned so that the centromeres orientate towards opposite poles. Anaphase 1. Homologous chromosomes each make up a pair of chromatids joined at the centromere, moves towards opposite poles of the spindle. The sister chromatids also separate slightly from one another along their length, except at the centromere. The final stage of meiosis 1 is telophase. During telophase 1, nuclear envelopes and nucleoli form around the 2 new nuclei and the spindle breaks down. At the end of meiosis 1, a brief interphase occurs. During interphase, no genetic material, DNA, synthesis occurs. However, chromosomes recondense and the second meiotic division begins. The purpose of the second meiotic division is to separate the chromatids from one another. It should be noted that in some organisms, interphase does not occur at this point. Instead, the process moves directly from telophase 1 to prophase 2. During prophase 2, centrioles in the two daughter cells replicate and a new spindle is formed at right angles to the first one. Metaphase 2 consists of the chromosomes moving towards the equator of the spindle and orienting themselves towards opposite poles. By anaphase 2, chromatids part company and migrate to opposite poles of the cell. Note, the chromatids become the chromosomes of the daughter cells. During telophase 2, spindle disappears and the chromosomes become thread-like. New nucleoli and nuclear envelopes form. By the completion of meiosis, division of the cytoplasm occurs and 4 haploid cells result. The 4 haploid cells result from the original diploid parent cell. After completing this lesson, student will be able to explain the role of gametes in the transmission of inheritable genetic characteristics. Meiosis and genetic variation. Meiosis results in genetic variation by A. The shuffling of maternal and paternal chromosomes and crossing over at prophase 1. B. The formation of 4 genetically unidentical cells, telophase 2. And C. Sexual reproduction which results in unique offspring since unique haploid gametes are fused. Importance of genetic diversity. Why is genetic diversity important? Genetic diversity is important for the survival of species. Environmental conditions continually change. As such, organisms with favorable combinations of genes from their parents will survive and pass on those favorable genes to their offspring when they reproduce. Summary. DNA replication. DNA replication occurs before meiosis 1 begins. Number of divisions, 2, each including prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Association of homologous chromosomes. During prophase 1, the homologous chromosomes join along their length, forming groups of 4 chromatids. Number of daughter cells and genetic composition. 4. Each haploid N containing half as many chromosomes as the parent cell and genetically unidentical to the parent cell and to each other. Role in animal body. Produces gametes, reduces chromosome number by half, and introduces genetic variability among gametes. Meiosis and mitosis compared. Mitosis occurs in normal body cells, while meiosis occurs in the formation of gametes. In mitosis, the normal diploid number of chromosomes is passed on, while in meiosis, the chromosome number is halved to the haploid number. In mitosis, nuclei have identical genes. However, in meiosis, nuclei have genes mixed by crossing over. Mitosis produces identical cells, but meiosis provides variation, new genotype. Mitosis occurs for body growth and development, while meiosis occurs for fertilization to restore the diploid number. Mitosis ensures genetic continuity, but meiosis ensures variation. Phases of mitosis and meiosis compared. Prophase of meiosis 1 is longer than mitotic prophase. In metaphase 1, the 2 copies of each replicated chromosome pair at the metaphase plate, unlike mitosis. In anaphase 1, each chromosome moves to pole without chromatid separation. At the end of mitosis 1, the chromosome number has been reduced, but each chromosome still has 2 chromatids. The chromosomes are not replicated in the interphase between meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. The chromatids finally separate in anaphase 2. The final result is 4 haploid gametes, each with half the number of chromosomes present in the diploid cells. Now that we have outlined the process of meiosis, you should now be able to complete this past paper question on the CSEC 2007 Biology Paper 03.
E-Learning Jamaica Limited, in association with the Ministry of Education and SED Jamaica Limited, present a series of e-learning videos geared towards preparing students for CXC examinations. This series focuses on biology. There are 10 videos, each lasting 20 minutes. Your narrator, Michael Anthony.
Learning outcome. At the end of this section, you will be able to define mitosis, outline the process of mitosis, describe the role of mitosis in growth, approximately 2 trillion cells make up the body. All of these cells derived from a single cell at the start of your life as a fertilized egg. In each successful cell division, genetic material is equally partitioned between the resulting 2 cells. The offspring are therefore genetically identical to each other and to their parent. In other words, they are clones. This process is called mitosis. Mitosis is the form of cell division that leads to the formation of 2 cells which are identical to their parent. Before we go on to describe the process of mitosis, you should already know what a cell is and the various parts of a cell. The parts of the cell that are especially important to this section are the nucleus, the nucleolus, the chromosomes, and the centrioles. If you recall, the nucleus is like the brain of the cell. It controls all the activities of the cell. The nucleus is surrounded by a membrane called a nuclear envelope. Inside the nucleus are thread-like structures called chromosomes. Chromosomes determine the characteristics of an organism and are made up of DNA. Directly outside the nucleus are 2 rod-like structures called centrioles. These centrioles form spindle fibers which play an important role in cell division. What are the functions of mitosis in living organisms? Mitosis is the cell division that occurs during growth. It allows an organism to replace old or damaged cells and is the basis for asexual reproduction. On a daily basis, our bodies have to replace damaged or worn-out tissues. Every time your skin rubs on a surface, some of your skin cells are removed. Can you imagine what would happen if these skin cells were not replaced? New skin cells are constantly being made to replace the old ones. The new cells are made by mitosis. If you damage your toe, new cells are made via mitosis during the healing process. When a carrot grows in the vegetable rack, it does so via mitosis, so the new cells which are formed have their identical genetic material as the original carrot. Let us look how this type of cell division called mitosis occurs.